What's up, everyone? This is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to talk about Malayali from India today. This was the latest movie by Nivin Pauly. We're actually going to talk about what did not work in this film and why it didn't become the success that we thought it would become. So, the first thing I want to say about Malayali from India is that it is a alternate history movie. That's the basic point of it. It takes the story of goat life or the recent movie Aadujeevitham, that concept of a man ending up abroad being trapped, but it presents it in a completely different way. It tries to do that in a more entertaining, positive, humorous way so that we get to see a different story completely. This happens in many movies and is one of the rare but most creative ways to present a movie. For example, Tarantino did that in Inglourious Bastards with Adolf Hitler and how he might have died, and that is one of the most amazing ways you could present alternate history. So here, Dijo Jose Antony takes this concept, combines it with COVID, other situational things that happened recently, and presents the same story, the basic concept of the story, and twists it completely to present it in a more positive light and takes into account other political situations, etc., to add some messaging to this story. However, the audience, I think, is too fresh off of actually watching an epic movie by Prithviraj, Aadujeevitham, and is relates the whole story of a man going abroad, being picked up at the airport in a wrong way, driving all the way, being trapped in the middle of nowhere in the desert, etc. This whole basic concept is too fresh in the audience's mind and relates to emotions that are not light or comedic. It relates to survival, vulnerability, just a lot of negative or sort of deep, dark emotions that we just experienced a few weeks ago before Malayali from India. And to visually see that, not just the novel Goat Life, which people already know about, but more importantly, to recently see that visually and have that level of a strong impact remains with the audience. So when suddenly Malayali from India ends up in a place where a man goes to the Gulf country, gets picked up in a weird truck, drives to the middle of nowhere, all you're thinking is Aadujeevitham and what is going on screen right now. And then 75% of the movie is in this situation where on the middle of nowhere, but however, it's presented in a different way. So somewhere I think when this happens, the audience checks out a bit because they can't relate the humor, positivity to something completely different because that whole situation is related to negative, dark emotions. It's not fun. It's not funny. So somewhere we think that because it's so fresh, it's difficult to quickly adapt to this comedic translation or interpretation of the same situation. So that I think is number one. It was too fresh off of the back of Aadujeevitham for 75% of the film to present basically Aadujeevitham in a completely different manner. Secondly, the promotions of Malayali from India promised amazing comedy with Dhyan Sreenivasan and Nivin Pauly, a goofy character, useless character that probably becomes an accidental hero because of political situations. So we thought it's going to be, a bunch of ups and downs, slapstick comedy, goofy situations, and somehow Nivin Pauly, might come out as a hero or might, something might happen and it will still be an end-to-end comedy entertaining movie. However, that was not the case because obviously the movie was not based in Kerala, it was not based in the local situations. It took him out of everything the promos promised us from, took him out from even being with Dhyan Sreenivasan throughout the movie. It took him out from all of that and placed him in the Aadujeevitham world to present this alternate history. So you pulled in the audiences with a promise of a certain thing, with amazing promotions and all of that, and you presented a picture, but then 75% of the movie had nothing to do with that world that was painted in the promotions. I don't think there was a single promotion where we saw what the movie was actually about. And so that again, I felt took away from the audience's experience where they felt, well, this is not what I signed up for. I wanted to watch Nivin and Dhyan and all the local comedic situations and the political satires in India and not really put him in a COVID bound Aadujeevitham world and see that, completely different. So these two, I think, are the main reasons that the audience had to go through an unexpected experience that got difficult to adjust to. Now, to adjust to the situation, you need to have an amazing level of comedy, amazing level of entertainment, so that the audience has no time to think and wonder what's going on. They have to be so engrossed in the movie that you just do, they ignore the fact that Aadujeevitham happened, they ignore the fact that the promotions were a certain way. You just don't have time to think, and you're completely engrossed in the proceedings of the movie, and it's that entertaining, that funny, and all those things. That also did not happen. The jokes were few and far between. They did not deliver a major impact. In fact, I think the promotion of the movie was way more funnier, and I think it'll live in our minds for the rest of our life for how creative and amazing the promotions were, as opposed to even a few jokes that happened in the movie. I don't know if any one of you remembers a lot of the jokes in the movie, but on an average, a person probably does not remember even 3 to 5 jokes, or would want to revisit 3 to 5 comedic scenes in Malayali from India for the rest of their lives. A very contrasting example to that is Varshangal Kashesham, where Nivin Pauly's character Nitin Molly had so many amazing dialogues, amazing charisma, screen presence, and absolute fire comedy that you will actually remember that as a cult character for the rest of your life. And if given a choice, you're going to go and watch Nitin Molly's scenes to relive some of the comedy, as opposed to watching anything from Malayali from India, because it just didn't have that level of comedy. So you need to have that level of escapism if you want to present alternate history fresh off the backs of Aadujeevitham. I know movie shootings happen at different time, releases come together sometimes, I understand that, but everyone knew Aadujeevitham was happening for 15 years. Then if you're going to take that story and present it in a different way, you need to have your writing that good, that entertaining, so even if it releases on the same day as Aadujeevitham, people go and watch 2 movies and still get 2 completely different yet amazing experiences. So to me, that just wasn't there. The problem as to why, or the reason that why it wasn't there, I think, is the writing did not have a goal. You need to have some goal of what is the purpose of this film. The purpose can be slapstick entertainment, so there is no major thinking and all of that. That was not the purpose. The purpose can be a very good character arc for Nivin Pauly, going from a useless guy who doesn't know what he's doing, ending up in a situation and evolving as a human being to become a very mature soul. That seemed to be the point of the movie. However, it did not deliver at all. I did not see what happened. Why is he changed that much? Loneliness changed him. Like, it didn't come through as a very impactful reason and the purpose of the film. It just felt like things just happened, it flowed, and I didn't know if I cared if he changed or not. I preferred him to be the goofy guy at the end of it all. So that wasn't very well developed. The character development wasn't strong enough. Lastly, was it about Hindu Muslims, Muslims in general, political satire, how all of this correlates to India, the fact that there was a sort of riots and things that he was involved in first, but then he ends up with a Muslim guy there, and then he sort of saves a Muslim girl at the end of the day. Like, that also seemed to be piecemeal and thrown in parts and wasn't sort of the main theme. It just didn't come across. So there were some potential goals this movie had, but it did not deliver it in the execution. And to top to all of that, as I said, people wanted humor, people wanted comedy. We thought that's what we were going to get, even if there was some messaging, but we didn't get that. So I think all these reasons makes Malayali from India a flawed film, a film that just did not meet the expectations and did not give us the sort of Nivin Pauly comeback and dynamic screen presence that we all wished for, which I think we did get in Nitin Molly in Varshangal Kashesham. So unfortunate that it did not work for me. I don't think this movie has worked that much for majority of the people. However, if you're one of the people that did enjoy the movie, did like certain aspects of this movie and all of that, leave your thoughts and comments below. I'd love to know everyone's thoughts and interpretations of this movie, because this was mine and you guys should also share yours. I hope you like this discussion on Malayali from India. Let's hope for much more from Nivin Pauly. As always, the hope never dies. He will be back soon enough. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching for much more.